the tournament on Saturday was a Star Wars Shatterpoint game.
Yes.
If you haven't played Star Wars Shatterpoint, it's a skirmish type tabletop game.
Yeah.
Very, very similar to Marvel Crisis Protocol.
Yes.
If you've ever played that or heard of that. So very small amount of miniatures per side.
Mm-hmm.
And you have objectives. It's not really like a killy game. You don't really try and kill your opponent and take minis off the board. It's very rare that happens.
Yep.
You're just trying to score objectives.
Yes.
It makes it quite tactical. It makes it fun. It's quite thematic.
Yeah.
Because you have different abilities and different reactions. And yeah, it's really, really good. We got into that game about a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
We bought a load of stuff.
Yeah.
To stock in our store, obviously.
Yeah.
Just had one of each ourselves. So I've been painting and building a lot of that. Played a few games, loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Had a tournament here Saturday. I figured I've got to be here anyway because we don't even have staff yet.
Yep.
So I'll just play in the tournament. Why not? It was really fun. Really, really fun.
What position did you come?
I came 6th out of 14 players.
Top half.
Top half, yeah.
I think that's really good going for a first tournament that you played for a week.
I went 2-1. So 3 games,
yeah.
I won 2, lost 1. And the one that I lost, this is going to sound like the most wargamer complaining rant ever. And I apologize in advance, but it was so unlucky. So I'm going to describe this to you guys now. If you're not interested in this sort of stuff, skip forward 30 seconds. But basically, what happened was, if you can see the video, there's an objective right here. I don't know if you guys can be able to see this or not. Objective by here. Han Solo is on that objective.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opponent's model. I have General Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Mm-hmm.
He has to do 1 wound on Han Solo,
Mm-hmm.
which scores me a point, and gives me that objective.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan has 10 attacks. That's 10 dice.
Yeah.
Easy. I roll my 10 dice.
Mm-hmm.
7 fails,
Mm-hmm.
which is really, really bad. And then he blocks the rest. Cost me the game.
Yeah, that sounds unlucky.
My opponent literally was like, that's probably the unluckiest thing I've ever seen in this game. So yeah, he was a good player, probably would have beaten me anyway, but that was a huge swinging moment anyway. So yeah, well, it's a great game. Dice games beat dice games, you know?
Yeah.
And the dice gods still do interfere, even in Star Wars.
Yes, no matter what. But what army was it you ran? Or squadron?
I
Sorry.
ran... Oh,
They're not armies, aren't they?
No, so I had 2 strike teams. I had General Obi-Wan Kenobi with Commander Cody and 212.
Yep.
Which is 4 models. And then my second strike team, that's how it works, you have 2 strike teams, was Anakin Skywalker with Commander Rex and 501st.
Nice. So you went all prequels.
All prequels, all Galactic
You're
Republic.
a prequel fanboy.
Damn right I am. Do you know what else I did yesterday? Wait, the tournament was Saturday. So do you know what I did yesterday?
Yeah.
Went to the cinema to see Revenge of the
I
Sith.
mean, that was a good choice.
It's Star Wars week.
Yeah.
May the 4th is approaching. We have to embrace Star Wars.
That is true. That is very true.
And I'll tell you what, that film has aged so well.
Mm.
So well. Like, it looks better than 90% of what comes out these days.
Oh, I
I'm not
know.
even exaggerating.
And it is one of those films that, because of the lightsaber fights in it,
Ugh.
every other lightsaber fight ever just looks awful. Because you just can't match that.
Yeah, I agree. And the opening sequence of that movie where Anakin and Obi-Wan and their starfighters flying through, it just is a mind-boggling sequence. Really long shot. So much going on. I don't know how computers in 2003 or 4 rendered that.
Well, it's one of those that, you go into the behind the scenes of it all. It's because they had time to do it.
Yeah.
But that's a whole filmmaking discussion that's probably not quite relevant for here.
Very true.
So then, so after doing your Shatterpoint tournament, how do you feel like it compared to, say, a Middle-earth tournament?
In terms of the structure of the tournament? Or
Just generally. Like, how did it all feel in comparison?
It
So
was...
say there was a Middle-earth fan who was thinking about Shatterpoint. Like, and they would think, maybe I'll just go along to one. How do you think it worked?
It was good, for one thing. The organisers... Exile Squadron? Is that what they're called? The club?
Yes, I think so.
Mark and Steve, good dudes. They play at the arena anyway, so we know them through that. And I thought it was well run. It was organised. Everything was pretty much on time. I enjoyed it. And the thing about Shatterpoint in general, not specific to this tournament, but in tournaments in general, is the low model count just makes things so much easier.
Yes. So how long was a round?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
Wait, 2 hours. 2 hours.
Two
Mission
hours.
critical after an hour and a half.
Okay. And for those who don't know,
Mission critical when there's half hour left, if the game is still going, basically every time it's your turn, you get an additional point. So it just speeds the game up if you're trying to reach a certain amount of points.
So it tries to stop draws, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's trying to give a winner in the time. I'm assuming that's kind of the purpose.
I don't think you really have draws.
No.
Because I think, I suppose you could.
Yeah.
But it's rare.
I guess that's a way to help prevent it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to do more?
Yeah. There's elements of the game I don't like.
Yeah.
I really think they need to restructure certain parts of the system. For example, and I think this is awful, whoever goes first can't score on their first turn.
Yeah.
So
fair.
Those of you that play 40k, you'll know you can't score primary on turn 1.
Yeah.
Right? But that's both players.
Yes.
If I go first, my first turn, I can't score primary. If you then do your first turn, you can't score primary.
Yeah.
In Shatterpoint, it's just the player that goes first can't score. So I can move my models onto objectives on turn 1. Nothing happens.
Yeah.
Then your go, you do the exact same thing and move models onto your objectives. You score them.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that's an awful decision.
Yeah, because I mean, Shatterpoint, for each struggle, so each round, you do get, what, 6-ish goes, 7 turns?
Yeah, usually.
Something like that. So, yeah, having one turn not scoring it's not like it's a 3-turn thing.
Yeah.
But
I honestly feel like whoever goes first, probably like 70% of the time is giving away the first struggle. I
mean, it'd be interesting to look back at the tournament results and see if there was very much a thing of who went first, lost more often or not. Obviously, you're going to have metas and stuff anyway, so that's not always going to be exactly accurate. But.
I was speaking to one of the guys I played, and he said you can look at the data, I'm guessing from big tournaments or worlds, I don't know what it's from, but he said it's about 55-45 in favor of the person that went first.
Yeah, so the fact that is anything of that is... I mean, obviously, there's going to be a bit of like, if all the best players went first anyway, it's going to skew things. But you think over a big scope, that should even out.
But overall, that's the only thing that really bugged me about the game. In general, I enjoyed it. It was very like a really nice group at the tournament. Everyone was friendly. Everybody was willing to help the new guys like me. And I would definitely do another one.
Oh, awesome.
It didn't feel like, when you play a lot of 40k in a day.
Yeah.
As much as I love 40k, after game 2, you're a bit like,
yeah.
Even in big Middle Earth tournaments, like 1,000-point Middle Earth tournament, it's just, my head can't do it. I can't manage it.
We've got our doubles win this week.
We do indeed.
So actually, next episode, you guys are going to get a rundown, I guess, of how the day went, which will be quite interesting.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. I'm almost looking forward to doing that as much as I am the tournament.
I guess it depends on the tournament. It won't be so fun talking about it if we come rock bottom.
Yeah. Oh, if we get wooden spoon, I'm going to be so sad. I don't think we will.
I hope not.
Yeah.
Shame Josty's not entering.
Again, he doesn't watch these, so
he got off scot-free last week.
True. So, apparently, I think if this is episode 15, we're 14 out of 15 episodes insulting Josty.
Yeah. And we'll keep insulting him until he listens to them.
Yep. That's the plan.
Yeah. So yeah, cool. Shatterpoint. I mean, I hope everyone likes the sound of it because you might be seeing some.
Yeah.
/ will be seeing some.
We put a poll up on Instagram.
Yes.
And so originally we put a poll up on the community page.
Yes.
Like on the channel, asking what other types of tabletop games you guys want to see.
Yeah.
One of the options was other, leave a comment. And the most requested game was Star Wars Legion.
Yes.
By quite some way.
Yeah.
And we would definitely like to get into that. However, we don't know the rules. We've not played it. We have played Shatterpoint.
Yes.
So on Instagram, we said, you guys asked for some Legion. Would you also be interested in Shatterpoint? It was about 78% said yes.
Yeah.
Which is quite a...
Yeah, because the thing with
number.
Legion as well, it's a bigger game. So there's a lot more for us to do to be prepared to do one of them on the channel. So
there's also a lot more for us to do wrong.
And that as well, yes. But Shatterpoint, it's, like you say, low model count. The terrain it's not an extortionate amount.
No.
Board
it's
size
big stuff.
Yeah, it's
but
big
it's not,
stuff. Board size 3x3. So it's quite nice to do fairly quickly.
Yeah.
So we can do that one and kind of work towards Legion at a later date.
Yeah.
But
I'll be honest, I feel like Shatterpoint is a nice contrast to MESBG because it's purely a skirmish game.
Yes.
Between 6 and 10 models, 6 and 9, 8, whatever it may be, per person. And everything's kind of individual. It's very skirmishy, whereas MESBG, you can consider it skirmish-ish. But let's be honest, the majority of the time it's not. It's just a full-on tabletop war game.
Yeah, and it does feel at the moment with MESBG, the meta is just as many models you can get on the table. That'll win you battles.
Or eagles. The complete opposite of that.
Oh, they've been brought up. Yeah, I had a point then and my mind's gone blank. So I forgot where I was going with that now.
You just gave a thumbs up, apparently. That was weird.
Thumbs up. Hey!
Yeah, so on that note,
yes,
you look at the format of games like Crisis Protocol, Shatterpoint. Yep. Do you think Middle-earth and the Lord of the Rings IP in general could benefit from that style of game?
Personally, yes. I guess you've got those as a comparison. You've also got Kill Team to 40k.
Yeah.
I think having multiple versions of the game that use similar stuff is quite nice.
I think it's great too.
It's harder to compare it with Shatterpoint and Legion because they are different models. It's a different scale. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've always said we wouldn't be against scaling up Lord of the Rings. If they did a Lord of the Rings Shatterpoint mix, so they were the scale of Shatterpoint. For those of you who don't know, Shatterpoint is, I can't think of the mill, but they are bigger.
Yeah.
And even in the Star Wars games, like they are bigger, so you can't mix and match.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess a rough comparison might be this Ranger, the model itself would be up to the height of the top of the spear.
Yeah. Yeah.
As a rough idea. It's kind of hard to compare. But I love the scale. I love it when it's bigger.
Yeah, same. Bigger is better.
Except when it comes to me. But yeah, I feel like it would be awesome. And I do like the thing of only having 2 squads of 3, 4, maybe 5. I don't know if you can get 5s actually. And just having smaller things to do with that. And it not always being about the killing.
Yeah,
I like there being mission things a lot more than just going, at the end of the day, the mission is this, but if I just kill him, I win it anyway.
Yeah, and it's alternate activation. Yes. So whereas 40k, I do everything. All of my models move, all of my models shoot, all of my models charge, and then we fight. And then you do that. There's a lot of waiting around. Even though Middle-earth is better in terms of I move all my models, then you move all your models, I do all my shooting, vice versa, so on and so forth. Shatterpoint takes it a step further, whereas I move one model, you move one model, and it's alternate unit activation, which I think is way more engaging for the players. Like there isn't a moment throughout that entire tournament where I was like, it's taking too long. Like
unless you're looking at your card going, oh, what are all these abilities? Which ones can I use now? Because there's not many. It's just new games. You always go, oh god. Like it looks more intimidating than it really is, that game. So,
It looks, because there's loads of tokens and loads of cards and 3 types of cards. Your deck, your attack trees, and your profiles.
But I feel like we played basically a 1-round game and then 1 full game. Yeah, 1 full game, and we kind of had it from that.
It's a lot simpler than it looks.
So I think with that, if you put that into like a Middle-earth thing, I think that would be amazing. Because imagine just having like little squadrons of like, you could have your Aragorn leading a Baragond, and because you've got your primaries, your secondaries, and then your units, and it would lend itself so well.
But do you know what I think the most appealing thing about this sort of skirmish game is? Like if you made a Middle-earth Shatterpoint style game, right?
Yeah.
The best thing about it is you could pick up any army and use them.
Yep.
And chances are you'll forget some things, some reactive abilities and stuff, but you can just play them. Whereas 40k Middle-earth, you need to look at your army rules. You need to know every individual models rules and how there's a lot to know. Like weapons, I got to check how this weapon works. What's this range? How does it work? There's a lot of different areas of these books, essentially, that you have to focus on. Whereas Shatterpoint, you put your models on the table, you put the corresponding cards on the table. When you look at that unit, you look at the card. That's what it does.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to use. So people like us who play different armies each week on the channel, we could pick up any army in Shatterpoint and be confident that we're going to not forget loads of stuff. Whereas, as we've shown historically, we can pick models and armies up that we've never played before for Middle-earth and forget a lot of stuff. Or get a lot of stuff wrong because we haven't played them before.
Yes.
Yeah, which I think if you do that for Middle-earth, you have that skirmish type game where they have corresponding cards. I just think it's more appealing. It's an easier pick up and play type game.
Yep.
Which people are going to argue that Middle-earth is a skirmish type game already.
Yeah. I mean, in comparison to others, yes. Yeah. But you still have to have armies.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the strange and unique thing about Middle-earth is you can go, let's do a 250-point battle. And then it becomes essentially a skirmish.
Yeah.
But it doesn't play the same. It's not unit activation. I just think it could benefit from a new type of game system, personally.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely, hey, if Atomic Mass Games want to get some rights and doing their own one, I don't think there would be many complaints.
No.
Don't know if anyone can really afford the rights to those kind of things anymore.
Well, ironically, we discussed last week whether or not GW are trying to basically play out their rights. We said that, and a lot of people were like, no, that's stupid, because then they're just giving it to a competitor, which is a very valid point.
Yeah, and someone had commented as well that it was only very recently they did sign a new deal with that as well. Yeah. So there was that, but there is a little, we weren't saying that is what they were doing.
No,
it was just
a
theory. Yeah. That's all it was.
A film theory.